Welcome back to Still Hours. I am Aurel, and I am glad you are here. Tonight, we will move through 5 old Stoic ideas, gentle ones meant to rest in your mind as you drift toward sleep. There is nothing to prove tonight, nothing to master. Only to listen and to let these thoughts settle like stones into quiet water. So lower your shoulders, let your breath find its own rhythm, and let us begin, slowly and kindly, together. Chapter 1. Living According to Nature. There is a woman named Elena who works in a garden. She does not fight the rain or curse the frost. She simply notices what the season asks of her, and she does what fits. She plants in spring. She tends in summer. She gathers in autumn. She rests in winter. When you watch her, you see no struggle. You see only the shape of a life that bends with what is real instead of against it. The Stoics taught that living according to nature means something quite simple. It means recognizing that you are part of a larger whole. You are not separate from the world, standing outside it and resisting it. You are woven into it. And there is a rightness, a kind of ease that comes when you stop pretending otherwise. It does not mean you abandon your own will. It means you align your will with what is true. You have a nature. That nature includes reason and kindness and the capacity to choose. When you use these gifts, when you live by them rather than by fear or greed or anger, you are living according to nature. The obstacles do not disappear, but they begin to feel like part of the path itself, not a mistake in the path. Think of a river. The river does not complain about the rocks. It does not decide the rocks should not be there. It simply flows around them, over them, through the smallest cracks, always finding the way forward. You have that same quiet power inside you, not the power to change everything around you, but the power to move with intelligence and grace through what is actually there. As you lie here tonight, notice where you have been resisting something small. A person, a circumstance, a feeling. What if you simply accepted that it is there and asked yourself what aligns with your own nature in response? What if you moved like water, not like a clenched fist? Chapter 2. Marcus Aurelius and the Meditations. There was a man who ruled an empire. He had every comfort a human could want. Yet each night he sat alone and wrote to himself. Not for others to read, for himself. He wrote about his failures, his fears, his tendency to grow angry and to judge. He wrote gently, almost like a father speaking to a son who is trying very hard and often failing. His name was Marcus Aurelius, and what he wrote became the Meditations. Marcus did not see himself as superior to anyone. He did not see his power as making him special. He saw himself as a person like you, trying to live well despite being tired and afraid and sometimes small. And he wrote his thoughts down so that when the confusion came back, as it always does, he would have his own quiet voice to turn to. The Meditations is not a book of answers. It is a book of one person, reminding himself of what matters when the day has worn him thin. Read slowly. Do not try to remember everything. Simply let Marcus sit with you as you wake or as you drift toward sleep. Let him say the things you need to hear from someone who understands. When Marcus felt anger rising, he wrote about the shared humanity of the person who had annoyed him. When he felt proud of something small, he reminded himself that he too would one day be dust. When he felt afraid, he asked himself if this fear was in his control. If it was not, there was no point to it. If it was, then there was something to do. You do not have to be an emperor to benefit from this practice. You only have to be a person who sometimes doubts, who sometimes falls short, who sometimes needs to remember why kindness and effort still matter, even when nothing is perfect. Marcus Aurelius was such a person, and in his meditations, he left a record of a man speaking to himself across centuries, saying to you now, "You are not alone in this. You are trying." That is already something. Tonight, if your mind turns to a moment when you fell short today, do not let shame have the final word. Speak to yourself as Marcus might, gently, with the knowledge that all humans stumble, that tomorrow is new. Chapter 3. The Four Cardinal Virtues. In the old Stoic world, there were 4 virtues that mattered above all others. They were like 4 lights that could guide you through any darkness. Their names were wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. Not grand virtues meant only for heroes, small, quiet virtues that live inside every ordinary choice you make. Picture a man at a crossroads. Wisdom helps him see clearly what is true and what matters most. Courage gives him the strength to do what is right, even when it is hard. Justice reminds him that other people matter as much as he does, and temperance tells him when to stop, when to say enough, when to turn away from what is easy and move toward what is good. Wisdom is not knowledge. It is the gift of seeing what will truly make you well. It is asking yourself, not just what do I want, but what will I respect myself for tomorrow? Courage is not the absence of fear. It is feeling fear and doing the right thing anyway. Sometimes the courageous thing is to admit you were wrong. Sometimes it is to stay when you want to run. Justice means remembering that the stranger has a heart that feels pain just as yours does. It means that your comfort does not matter more than another person's dignity. It means treating others as you wish to be treated, not because you will be rewarded, but because it is the only way a good person can act. Temperance is gentleness with yourself. It is knowing when you have had enough of what feels good. It is the quiet strength of a person who does not need more to feel whole. These 4 are not separate. They work together. When you practice one, the others grow stronger too. And the beautiful thing is that you do not have to be perfect at any of them. You only have to keep reaching toward them, day after day, in small moments no one else may see. As you rest tonight, ask yourself which of these 4 whispers to you most right now. What does wisdom want to tell you? Where does courage want to grow? How can you be more just? Where do you need more temperance? Let one of these questions settle into your sleep and wait for morning. Chapter 4. Turning the Obstacle Upside Down. There is a story the Stoics loved to tell. A chariot wheel breaks on a long journey. The traveler cannot move forward. So he sits with the broken wheel and asks himself, what does this obstacle offer me instead of what I wanted? He cannot reach his destination today, but perhaps he can help the other travelers who are also stuck. Perhaps he can learn to be patient. Perhaps he can rest in a way he has never allowed himself to rest. Perhaps this broken wheel is not a punishment, but a redirection. This is what the Stoics meant by turning the obstacle upside down. It does not mean pretending the obstacle is not difficult. It means asking what power lies hidden inside it. What can this hard thing teach you? What new path does it open? You have probably noticed that the hardest moments of your life often led somewhere unexpected. The job that fell through led to the job you love. The friend who left taught you something about yourself. The fear you faced grew you larger. At the time, these things felt like pure loss, and they were losses, but they were also seeds. Marcus Aurelius wrote that an obstacle to action becomes the action. This is not a trick of language. It is true. If you wanted to help others and now you are ill, being ill well is itself a way of helping others. Your patience, your grace under suffering, teaches people around you something true about being human. If you wanted to accomplish something ambitious and now you are blocked, the blocking itself becomes your practice. You practice acceptance. You practice trusting what you cannot see. This does not mean everything is good. It means that even bad things can become material for your growth if you do not waste the moment by only resisting and resenting. It means asking, what is the opportunity inside this difficulty? What strength does it ask me to find? When you cannot sleep tonight, do not only resist the sleeplessness, ask what it might be offering you instead. Quiet, stillness, time to think without rushing, freedom from the day. The obstacle is real, but so is the invisible gift inside it, waiting for you to turn it over and look at the other side. Chapter 5. Epictetus and the Enchiridion. There was a man named Epictetus who had been enslaved. His master twisted his leg until it broke. Epictetus looked at his master calmly and said, "If you keep twisting, it will break." His master twisted it until the bone snapped. And Epictetus said quietly, "I told you so." He did not cry out. He did not hate. Because Epictetus understood something that made him freer than any free person. What he understood was this: some things are in your control, and some things are not. Your master can break his leg, but he cannot break Epictetus himself. That lives only inside Epictetus and cannot be touched. Epictetus wrote a small book called the Enchiridion, which means the handbook. It was a handbook for freedom. The handbook said, "You do not control whether you are healthy or rich or famous or comfortable. You control only your choices, your responses, your effort to live according to virtue. Everything else is outside the walls of your will, and if you spend your life fighting for things outside the walls, you will be enslaved forever." This is deeply restful to understand. When you truly accept that you cannot control the weather, or what others think of you, or whether things go as you planned, you stop wasting the tremendous energy of fighting the unfightable. You turn all that energy inward, toward the one thing you can genuinely control: how you choose to meet what comes. You cannot control whether someone loves you, but you can control whether you love them well. You cannot control whether you succeed, but you can control whether you try with integrity. You cannot control whether you suffer, but you can control whether you suffer with dignity and even with grace. This is not resignation. It is the opposite. It is the focused power of a person who has stopped looking for freedom in the wrong places and found it in the only place it actually lives: inside, in the choice itself. As you drift toward sleep tonight, feel the relief of this. There are so many things you do not have to carry, all the outcomes you cannot make happen, all the minds you cannot change, all the impossible demands you have been making of yourself. You can set them down. What remains is only your own small choice, moment by moment, to be kind and to try and to trust what you cannot see. That is enough thinking for one night. 5 small doors have been opened tonight, each one leading into a different room of an ancient house. You do not have to solve anything. These ideas will work on their own in the quiet hours ahead. Let them settle. Marcus Aurelius sat alone and wrote to himself. Epictetus found freedom in the most impossible place. The Stoics looked at obstacles and found power hiding inside them. And you, in this moment, are learning what they learned: that the life you want is built not by fighting the world, but by understanding yourself. Sleep now. Rest well. This is Oral, staying with you a while longer.